Hello Indie Game fan, in perhaps the definition of a surprise release, we have Lone Ruin The Fool's Errand, a free update to this action roguelite that released in January, which was completely in stealth mode, where it does fundamentally change the concept of the game. Rather than difficulty levels, this is now replaced with an Ascension-style progression system, popularized by games like Slay the Spire, as well as new mechanics and improved survival mode, which is the Bullet Heaven style variant, as well as various updates and changes, making this worth revisiting. One of the strangest crossovers would be PowerWash Simulator Midgar, where the oddly relaxing first-person simulator crosses over with Final Fantasy VII, being no surprise since the game is published by Square Enix and has done tremendously well for them.
An evil extraterrestrial corporation rules the Earth, exploring humans and natural resources. Meanwhile, a group formed by high-skilled pilots opposes such repression and horror. The devious alien leaders try to stop it, but the rebellion is off and running. Here comes the Squad 51 versus the Flying Saucers.
This video is brought to you by Squad 51 vs the Flying Saucers, a horizontal shoot-'em-up that stands out due to its art style, aping 1950s sci-fi movies with the colour scheme and animations. You play as part of the rebel group, having to take on an extraterrestrial organisation as they seek to impose their will on humanity, taking on all sorts of enemy ships and giant bosses.
It's them! They're coming!
The 2.5D look is especially neat, and even while I have no particular fondness for this era in movies, I do have an appreciation for the craft, which is excellently translated into this game, with the core shoot-'em-up action being great as well.
Ships by destroying their ionic energy nucleus.
They did even go the extra mile by having live-action cutscenes, which are as cheesy as you might expect, but again, plenty of effort put in which warrants a mention.
There's nowhere to run anymore. The best we can do is keep out of sight.
This is out now on Switch, and it's at a whopping 30% discount, so pick it up via the eShop, link in the description below. I have to give another special mention to Sea of Craft, a sandbox crafting and building title where you are, of course, constructing your own ship to sail the high seas. It is not just limited to the Age of Sail style ships, but does have quite the variety in parts, where the sky's the limit in terms of your imagination, with some excellent examples shown in this trailer. It is similar to titles like Besiege, with various stages full of enemies and objectives to accomplish, making its 1.0 release of interest. A pretty underrated puzzle game is Bonfire Peaks, a voxel title where you're attempting to burn stuff, so their latest paid DLC, titled Lost Memories, will be of interest, which will eventually be adding about 75% more content in relation to the amount in the base game, but where, curiously enough, this is like an early access DLC of sorts, with Part 1 available right now and Parts 2 and 3 later in 2023. An underrated 3D platformer from 2021 is Demon Turf, where they just released a free update named Tower, which essentially adds a new mode to the game. In the original, you had to adventure through the underworld in order to become the Demon Queen, where in this update, canonically, our heroine gets her powers taken away, having to start from scratch as she attempts to make her way up the tower. But interestingly, the tower is not fully randomized, but the higher up you get, the more powers you unlock for your next attempt. But this game is a speedrunner's dream, so do check it out. The developer of Swords and Sandals, Immortals, has been in the game development business for a long time, going back to the Flash game era, with the 1.0 release of their latest title being of interest. With the demise of Flash, a number of these developers have shifted to Steam, with the long-running Gladiator combat series being good, so of course their latest entry is worth a look. It has turn-based combat and some wacky out-of-left-field enemies including aliens and more, so check it out for a nostalgia hit. I came to know of Time Wasters from Jeff Gersman's podcast, where it comes to us from the developer of Time Clickers and Time Warpers, which are interesting takes on the idle or incremental game, where this game in comparison is quite a change, being more like a Vampire Survivors clone that we've all come to know and love, or hate, depending on your preferences. It is an auto-shooting survival game where tons of bullets spew out of your ship, but there are meta-progression elements from run to run in the form of space cubes, as well as upgradable planets which give you an advantage when you're physically close to them on the map, with a good look as well, and you could do much worse when looking for a game in this space. This next title caught me by surprise as well, where this free rhythm dating sim looks and is awesome. You're trying to help your character impress their date, where it is very appropriately named Love Birth.
Trial and error, right? Corporate business parties are so dull. What was all we ever lived?
I think that the art is awesome, giving off that cozy vibe, with the minute-to-minute gameplay being relatively simple but being core to the experience, and for free, why not give it a go?
Any bedroom secrets you wanna share? Just wait till he secrets them.
Another game that is worth a mention is this gorgeous pixel art
Farm Simulation RPG.
taking place in a world of both monsters and humans, where you have the choice of visiting the 3 cities filled with different characters. The fantasy twist to the genre is neat, where there are multiple fantasy races to choose from, with the expected farming, fishing, mining, combat, relationship systems, seasonal events, a museum, crafting and more, and curiously enough, this has support for up to 8-player multiplayer as well, so while it has done well so far, I think that Sunhaven deserves a lot more success, so do give it a go, with my recommendations of the best relaxing games in this video.